does give me just a brief space to talk to you as a group. And as I say, to me, you are the leaders of our community. And so you need to be aware that we really need your help. Wooster has been blessed for years now to have a society that is growing, that is able to withstand the cost of growth with our income coming into the city, has a very high quality of life. And to me, I do not want that to change. Unfortunately, what you have heard rolling out in every other sector of our nation is happening in Wooster also. Right now, if you don't know, Wooster is operating at a $1.3 million deficit. Okay, now, I gotta call it a structural deficit according to my finance guy, because we have rainy day funds or a savings account to cover that deficit. We saw a train coming at us a good year and a half, 2 years ago. Knew that we were running into a situation where our revenues were not going to cover our expenses. We took some actions. Wooster is being operated by 15% less employees than it was this time last year. We lost 24 people in a planned voluntary separation or a retirement program, but it was 15% of our workforce. I'm hoping you haven't noticed that, but I'm guessing you have. You've noticed your roads aren't as nice as they have been in the past. You're noticing that we had to put a new charge in, the stormwater fee, to help us with the cost of leaf pickup and street sweeping. You probably have noticed the parks are not as well maintained as they have been in the past. You probably noticed that there are weeds growing in flower beds around town where they never were before. But hopefully those have been just minor things that you have noticed and have moved on and still appreciate the quality of life that we all have. Unfortunately, with the new state budget that's come out in July, that train coming down the track all of a sudden has increased to an express or a bullet train. We are losing an additional $1.8 million by 2013, which will increase our deficit to over $3 million. There's only two ways to solve the problem. You either increase your revenue or you decrease your expenses. We've already taken steps to decrease our expenses. If we cannot find a way to increase our revenue, it will mean laying off an additional 38 to 40 city employees. We cannot do that without touching our safety services. So fire and police will definitely have to be touched. Also, things like the community center may not have the activities that are there right now. We may get down to where we have one employee keeping the doors open and let everything be volunteer type of activities. So I'm not here to put a damper on today. That's not the meaning of this. This is a celebration day. But you need to be aware, because we are going to be asking all of you as service clubs, as volunteers, as leaders in our community to help us, to maybe step up more, as Mark said, the haunted hayride. we used to do as a city service through our Parks and Rec area. We couldn't do it anymore. It's not a core function of what we are here to do. And so we had to roll it out, and Kiwanis chose to pick it up. A lady just came in this morning that was upset that we weren't going to have the farmers market down at the community center. We have one there on Thursdays, and then the downtown has one on Saturdays. We're having to stop doing that. And she was upset, saying it doesn't take much time. And she's right, it doesn't take much time, but it does take time. And it's not a core function of what we have to do. And so we've had to look at trimming back. And that's happening in every city department out there. So as we move forward into 2012 and 2013 and 2014, you as city volunteers wanting to keep the quality of life that we all share and keep it to a level that we all want to enjoy, we really need your help to keep that moving forward. This is something that you're probably going to be hearing more about. We started saying things, as I say, last May, a year and a half ago, May. And we've been quietly increasing the tenor. And unfortunately, July has caused us to get even stronger language saying, we need your help. So that's where you as Service Club members and our group can really be needed in the future.
Well, obviously, we are in trouble as a community. Obviously, we need more revenue. And it's been obvious to me for some time that a substantial chunk of that revenue could come from retirees who do not pay income tax on their retirement income to the city. Those who work are paying taxes. Those who hire those who work are paying taxes. Those who are retired like me and are on Social Security and pensions and so on, retirement income, are not taxed at all for on our income for the local community. We are taxed for the national, federal income tax, state income tax. The state income taxes, as far as I'm concerned, could be raised on my income, and particularly the local government should tax my income. I realize that it would take a couple of years to get this to work, because it would take a while. The state has to pass a law allowing the city government to tax my income. Then the city government would have to pass an ordinance taxing that income.
Well, I think in general, he's right on target, and I applaud him for saying those words to this audience and to other audiences, because they're not easy words to say and they're not easy words for people to receive. But I do think it's interesting, his concept of core function, and he talked about police and fire and other safety services. But to my mind, one of the biggest competitive advantages Worcester has over other areas in terms of having people locate and residents locate is the quality of life, the parks, the playgrounds, the youth activities, the things for children to do. There are more things for kids and for families to do in this town than you could possibly do in a year or in a lifetime. And so maintaining that core, which is also provided by, in addition to the city, nonprofit groups and other organizations, is including the parks, and the mayor had mentioned the quality of the parks, and we've all seen the parks the weeds are growing taller, the pavilions are getting rustier, and wood's falling off of them. Those need to be maintained in order for Worcester to maintain that competitive advantage of a quality of life. That's what will help draw people into town, because it's not just about drawing businesses into town. There are more and more people are working for themselves, they're freelancing, they're telecommuting, they're working for employers that are nowhere near Worcester, won't ever be in Worcester, but the people, the employees, have the ability to settle wherever they would want, and most of the time, many of the times, those people are bringing high wages and well-paying jobs into the town for themselves. So if you can position Worcester in a way to get those people to want to come here and to settle here, you're getting, higher wage jobs than you might get otherwise. So it's not just focused on the business community, but it's on building a city and building a town of a wonderful place for people to live, to send their kids to school, to participate in activities, to get people to want to bring their jobs and their higher incomes here. So I applaud the mayor for having that discussion here and bringing it to this group, and I'm sure he'll be bringing it to many groups in the weeks and months ahead, and hopefully that structural deficit that he spoke about will be rectified. Hopefully the state will maybe make some changes so that there'll be a little more assistance to the localities, and we'll be able to move forward and continue the incredibly high quality of life that we have here in Worcester.